best would be winning. I mean, there are those little queries over him. Darren's thoughts here were 1 to beat 4, 2 and 7. He went with Dylan Thomas to defeat Dr. Dino, Kijano, and put in Vital King. Look, I ended up going with Kijano. I've been really impressed with the way he's worked. He's got barrier 1. He's not going to cover any extra ground. He's got an amazing record, 12 from 16, and he's stood up at Group 1 level this year in his home country. And I thought his third in the Canadian International was a terrific run. I'm giving him a chance of beating Dylan Thomas, who of course will go out today, hopefully on a high note for his connections. 4 Dr. Dino and 7 Vital King. So I went 2, 1, 4, 7, looking a little bit for value. And yourself?
Yeah, well, look, I couldn't go against Dylan Thomas. You know, he's the highest rated horse in the world. I thought he could be a length or 2 off his best and still win this. And, you know, when you got 8 or sort of 9 pounds higher rating than any other entrant in the race, I was willing to go with him. I know that he hasn't had the ideal preparation going into it, but, you know, let's face it, he's won the Arc, he's won multiple Group 1s. I mean, like I said, he could be a length or 2 off his best. He's still going to take an awful lot of beating. The main dangers, I had Dr. Dino, and Kijano looks in fantastic order, and I'd be giving him a big chance. And Red Rocks, I thought, was another one that had arrived well. So I had number 1, Dylan Thomas, to beat 4, 2 and 3. But looking at the betting, still favourite Dylan Thomas, odds on. We thought in the previous event, Fanny, that Sacred Kingdom might have been a little bit short, but this one is another one that actually deserves to be very short in the market, Dylan Thomas, when you look at his overall form.
And he comes back. You know, every single race, he comes back and gives you a tougher fight. He's as strong as they come. He wouldn't win a medal prize, but he wins with his heart. I've never seen... Actually, I spoke to Kieran Fallon right after he won the Arc, and he said this is the best horse he'd ever sat on. And Kieran Fallon has ridden many a good horse. So.
He's ridden a few good ones, hasn't he? Yeah.
Well, there hasn't been a horse that's won the Irish Champion Stakes on 2 occasions, and Dylan Thomas has achieved that.
And he can achieve any distance. He can bounce back and run quickly after a race. He runs well fresh. He really hasn't done anything wrong. Maybe sway a little in the Arc for the finish, but even that doesn't take anything away from him as a true Arc winner.
Well, he's Europe's Horse of the Year in 2007, 6 Group 1s, the highest rated horse ever to come here to Hong Kong on a rating of 128. He makes his swan song today, Dylan Thomas, the 4-year-old son of Danehill, having his 20th start. He's a 10-time winner so far with 5 placings. Fanny, great to have your company. You're going to be joining us again a little bit later for comments on the mile. We look forward to that.
With pleasure.
Thank you.
In the meantime, they're getting ready for a start. Time for the second of the international Group 1s, the Cathay Pacific Hong Kong Vase. Let's join Darren Flindell.
Yeah, thanks, Brett. Well, the Hong Kong public got it spot on in the previous with Sacred Kingdom at very restricted odds, and Dylan Thomas, the class runner of the international program. He is the 1.7 favourite. Johnny Murtari's had a tremendous preparation, or a very solid preparation. Pacific Hong Kong Vase over the 1.5 miles, $14 million in stakes. McLeod joins them along with Bassoni. Bassoni being handled by Christophe Soumillon out of gate number 6. And they're just about ready to run in the Hong Kong Vase. 1.7 Dylan Thomas. We're just awaiting on Everbright to come in. Still to move into line as well. Here's Egerton now set. Hawke's Bay about to join them. Viva Macau comes up. Viva Macau takes up his position, a recent winner of the ladies' purse at Class 1 level, Darren Beedman. He's drawn the outside in barrier 13. Now they're all in. The field is ready, and the starter says, go in the vase. Away they go, and Hawke's Bay and Viva Macau from their wide draws are showing plenty of speed, and they're both backing a beeline towards the rails. Bassoni's out nicely into third, and Dr. Dino's right up on the speed. Red Rocks is coming across, but caught a bit deep in the early part. So's McLeod out very deep. Then Co-Cab from Kijano. Vital King, Egerton. Dylan Thomas is back third last, just pulling a little bit on the fence. And at the tail of the field is Everbright and also Arch Rebel. At the post the first time, and Beedman takes Viva Macau to the front. Steadies the pace, out by 2 lengths on Hawke's Bay. Bassoni in third, Dr. Dino's fourth on the rails. Red Rocks is coursing deep, turning out of the straight on the outside of Co-Cab, and Kijano on the yellow colours pinned back on the fence. Deeper out is Vital King. McLeod is going forward. Right off the track, McLeod, but has been committed to improving her position, the German mare, as they go to the back. Further back in the race to Dylan Thomas from Everbright, and Arch Rebels at the tail of the field. They're going a fairly steady gallop here, and McLeod's been able to come from last and Moore has circled the field on McLaren, goes up to eyeball Viva Macau. Bassoni splits the pair in third, Hawke's Bay with cover. Red Rocks is off the track on the outside of Cocab. A length further back to Vital King, who's covering the ground around Egerton and Dr. Dino on the rails. Then Kijano from Everbright, Dylan Thomas, and a length and a half off to Arch Rebel at the tail of the field. They've been going a steady gallop right from the outset, and McLeod went right around the field and leads at the halfway mark. Out by a length to Viva Macau and Bassoni. Right off the course there, but continuing to bat on is Red Rocks on the outside of Cocab, then Hawke's Bay on the rails. Further back to Vital King from Egerton being shaken up. Then Dr. Dino from Everbright, Kijano. Motors but well back in the field here on the short price favourite Dylan Thomas, but staying to the fence for the moment. And Arch Rebel is last as they start to quicken the tempo. Coming to the turn, it's McLeod in front from Bassoni, getting closer, and Red Rocks the outside. Then Viva Macau from Cocab. Vital King's placed under some pressure from Hawke's Bay Egerton. Everbright's pulling to the outside together with Kijano, and Dylan Thomas gives them a big start as they're well into the straight. And Christophe Sumion takes Bassoni clear from Red Rocks. Egerton's running on. Then Dr. Dino and Kijano the outside. Bassini leads inside the 150, but Dr. Dino's coming hard. Dr. Dino raced up to Bassoni. Kijano the outside, but Dr. Dino's coming away for Peslier. Dr. Dino from Kijano and Bassoni. Arch Rebel fourth. Followed in by Cocab Egerton. Dylan Thomas couldn't pick them up. Then Everbright from Red Rocks, Hawke's Bay. A margin to Viva Macau from McLeod. And last to finish was Vital King. He's travelled the world, Dr. Dino. His first appearance in Hong Kong. And Dr. Dino has outstayed them in the mile-and-a-half contest. Kijano has come from well back with his inside running in the most part of the race to run second. And Bassoni, number 5, has run the third. Arch Rebel, number 8 for Ireland, has got home into fourth. Well, Dylan Thomas gave them a big start, too big a start, and he's finished back in a midfield position, going off at an odds-on quote of 1.7 here on the Hong Kong tote. But number 4, Dr. Dino, at $87, has clocked the time of 2:28.2, which is bang on standard for a Group 1 race over the mile-and-a-half. They're rare contests here in Hong Kong, only 2 domestics and the international Group 1 with the Vase. But Dr. Dino, handled by Olivier Peslier. We saw him in Singapore run a tremendous race there. He just kept staying on in the Singapore Airlines Cup. And after that went to Arlington, placed third behind Jambalaya. Won the Man of War Stakes in New York at Belmont, and then a grinding third in the Group 1 Champion Stakes at Newmarket. He's proven he can travel, and Dr. Dino taking out the Hong Kong Vase from Kijano second, Andres Starker, and a 5 Bassini, handed by Christophe Sumion third. A length and a half the winning margin, a neck back to third as we take in the replay. Dylan Thomas, well, he's had a tremendous schedule of work this week. He's worked every morning for the last 7 days, and the freshness was certainly out of him. Dylan Thomas raced in a very rearward position. The Hong Kong pair, Hawke's Bay and Viva Macau, showing the early pace, and the eventual winner of the race, Dr. Dino, was very well positioned in the early part by Peslier in gate 4. He had Bassini on his outside, so the place getters are all very forward in the early part, with Kijano, the runner-up, settling what ultimately proves to be a 4-back the rails position as they turn out of the straight. There's been a few that have worked, particularly the German-bred mare McLeod representing France. She was wide in the early part, and Ryan Moore had no concerns about taking her right around the field. Red Rocks has been off the course as well, and the Hong Kong Derby winner Vital King was off the track all of the way, but well into the straight. Understandably, McLeod, who worked, drops off sharply, and Bassoni surges to the lead at this point from Cocab trying to come underneath Red Rocks. Egerton was running a good race to this point, but Dr. Dino still a good 3 lengths off the leader, but under the whip of Peslier, he really starts to dig in now. And Kijano with his late run on the outside. Arch Rebels come from well back. He was back with Dylan Thomas on the home turn, but it's Dr. Dino taking out the Vase at 2007 and doing it in tremendous style.
Yeah, it was a great ride, wasn't it, by Olivier Peslier. Dr. Dino, that great turn of foot. The Globetrotter taking it 10.70, 2.20. Kijano 2.10. Bassoni 6.60, 4.2, 5 and 8 on the Vase. The odds-on favourite turned over. Dylan Thomas given a lot to do there by Johnny Merton. Got flattened as well at the 400-metre mark.